post on Fox or whatever, Washington Post, something about how surveillance has become psychological warfare built within our United States government. And the thing that they have conditioned you to believe is that they are going after these random Middle Eastern targets who have massive weapons of mass destruction. No. They're targeting the people that live down the block. They're targeting your neighbors. But you don't know that because people are so worried about Christmas and football games and, our country knows what they're doing. And it's like, based on what? Based on white supremacy? Based on indoctrination that they have created policy and rules out of based on stereotypic mentalities? You all are not seeing the bigger picture on purpose. So when I think about seeing a news article that basically confirms what most people already knew, I was like, they had to give me an in because I already knew this shit. I already knew that they were using your employer, your social media movements, your GPS location, your credit card banking transactions. They're using all of these things to see what you do. And when they decide that you're doing something that is completely anti to what their judgment is, they use internships at HBCUs. They're like, they're telling the HBCU, you want this grant money from the United States judicial system? You want this grant money to fund your little black nigger kids? Sure, okay. And then they write into their funding that the students will participate in internship opportunities that expand their knowledge in understanding how the United States government, federal systems work, whatever bullshit language. And then when these kids get into the internships, they find out that they're not surveilling Middle Eastern people, fake, whatever, whoever it's the motherfuckers down the street. It's the neighbor. Because they're what's really happening and what the article talks about is this psychological warfare. So it's like, what kind of psychological warfare strategies and tactics are they using on regular, everyday human beings that they deem are terrorists? Anybody can be a terrorist. I need y'all to understand that after 2013, they crafted a list of 2.5 billion individuals, either within the United States and or globally, that they deemed as a terrorist. And some of these people were people who had different ideologies when it came to how we educate, how we police, how we run down the list, how we tax, all these things, right? It has nothing to do with red pill, blue pill, who you're voting for on November, whatever the dumb date is. It has nothing to do with that. It's how can we keep you complicit? How can we keep you moving in the way that we want you to move? And when we identify that you are not moving according to how we want you to, based on our judgment, and we all know how people judge in this country based on wild bullshit. Oh, you smoke weed? Oh, you're a problem. Well, bitch, I know people who are functional alcoholics that work at Google. I know people who have complete sociopathic issues and they work at some of our top major companies. And as a side note, they are those individuals who are investing in the cannabis industry. There are ridiculous juxtapositions and contradictions that occur within our society every day, and it is unacceptable. So much so that you're exercising, you want to take a walk to get your endorphins moving, and you are being followed everywhere you go. And when I talk to people about this, it's what could you be doing? You're only gonna be worried if you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. And it's like, well, what is considered what you should not be doing? Because there is a faction of people who don't believe that you should have guns, right? And so what they do is they'll I'm at my local bar or my church or I'm at the barbershop and so-and-so walks in who's on the police force, and I just happen to bring up, yeah, so-and-so down the block, they got a whole shit ton of rifles, and that's none of your fucking business. But it's like, on the flip side, I understand there are people who are out here strategizing to do really wild things, like walk up into grocery stores and murder people. But I'm like, the United States federal government has access to Google. They have access to Verizon. They have access to Cash App. They have access to all these people who they sent NSLs to. If you don't know what an NSL is, Google it. All of this information is easily understood. It's just that people are so focused on shit that's not real, like Christmas. Spending a gobs amount of money on shit that your kids are not even gonna use in 3, 4, 5 months. Because you have been indoctrinated to believe that this is how you should be moving and this is what you should be paying attention to, as opposed to paying attention to the wild shit that is happening, people being murdered for telling the truth about how to really care for your health. Journalists being murdered because they're revealing that there are top government officials that you voted into office that are doing some wild shit. Then you also have the other ones who are being petty, who are going after people just because they're black and they're not doing what they want in the United States or district attorney's office or whatever these when you work related to the judicial system, crime, all of that stuff, policing, all of that, it's all very much interwoven, and it's the good old boys club. Okay? This shit is ordered by the Fraternal Order of the Police, who is descendants of the Ku Klux Klan white supremacy bullshit. And I need you to understand, as a caveat, that when I say white supremacy, it has nothing to do with a white person. It is an ideal, because I know that there are Asians who are white supremacists, black people who get into positions of authority just to diminish and demean other black people.